so I can destroy the Power Rangers with my own 2 hands.
Welcome back to Marvelous Videos. I'm Rylan. Growing up, we all watched, or at least heard about, the mighty Power Rangers, who came together to save the world from time to time. Each and every Power Ranger group has had a different type of villain, who has had their own evil plans to take over the planet. But one of these villains always seems to stand out as unique, and even though it's just a computer virus, it has a mind of its own. That's right, we're going to be talking about Venjix, the virus. Today, we'll be discussing about how Venjix managed to come to be, his appearances in the show, and how he has troubled different groups of Power Rangers. So, without further ado, let's get right into this video.
Before we get into it, however, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is just a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thanks. Now, let's get going.
Exploring the origins and backstory of Venjix. 3 years before the main timeline, the self-aware computer virus known as Venjix was developed by Dr. K with the intention of breaking into top-secret military codes. Venjix also helped Dr. K create the suits for the Ranger Operator series, which is hilariously ironic, as these suits will be one of the greatest reasons behind his evident loss. Venjix requested that Dr. K let him out at least once, but she refused, stating that he was too dangerous to be let out. But soon, Dr. K decided to flee from the alphabet soup, as they were after her, and so she decided to use Venjix in order to accomplish her plans. She also made sure that she took Gem and Gemma with her, but unfortunately for her, escape was just not an option, and she was soon caught before she could actually turn on the firewall, which was supposed to keep Venjix trapped in the facility itself. Due to this, Venjix was able to spread out all over the world, and was able to get into every device which ran on electricity in general, and his plan to conquer the world began. Venjix is like the Ultron of the Power Rangers universe. It was developed by a scientist, got leaked all over the world, and then started to destroy humanity. Venjix was growing stronger and smarter by the minute, and within a year, it had already corrupted over 37% of the planet's computers and electronic devices. His AI grew so strong that he could link itself to devices with the strongest security. Then, Venjix took over the world's defense, power, and communication networks. It produced both Venjix drones and battalions of highly developed robotic troops, known as grinders, which were too powerful for ordinary people to fight off. Venjix ordered its forces to lay waste to everything they saw, and his forces followed him blindly. There was no means to stop them, and Venjix soon declared that he had won. He said, "Your world is now my world, and your time is now over." At this point, not only was Venjix infecting electronic devices, but it was also infecting humans as well, which was worse because the humans were unaware of this. Sounds like Judgment Day is nearby, doesn't it? The remaining surviving humans fled to the city of Corinth, which had a massive dome around it, and it was seemingly the only place that had not been attacked or influenced by Venjix yet. The humans thought they were safe in the meanwhile, but what they did not know was that a few infected humans also slipped in during the ongoing war. Venjix also used his infection to slowly transform the infected humans into hybrid sleeper agents, who would soon turn out to be Venjix's greatest weapon. Due to Venjix's reign of terror all over the world, it weakened the defense systems massively, and this helped Dr. K to escape from the alphabet soup. She instantly knew what she had to do. She soon reached Corinth, and with her, she brought the Ranger Operator series technology, the only thing that could stand a chance at defeating Venjix, even if the chances were slim to none. While everything was going on, Venjix moved inside the Venjix Palace, where it ruled the globe from atop a huge metal column. The world outside of Corinth became a toxic wasteland after Venjix ordered his grinders' factories to pollute the air. His soldiers constructed a barricade around Corinth to stop more refugees from entering the city. As they combed the wastelands, the machines killed or captured any people they came across. Venjix soon started to conduct extremely painful experiments on the humans that he captured, and realized that he could use these experiments in his favor. He even took an interest in a blind girl and her brother. After accomplishing this, Venjix realized that he needed others to supervise his army, and he had other motives as well, so he created 3 loyal generals named General Shifter, General Crunch, and Kilobyte. Yes, I know they sound like some knockoff of some cereal company, but trust me, these are their real names. While staying at the palace, Shifter and Crunch helped Venjix create new attack bots to use against Corinth, but somehow Kilobyte disappeared in the wastelands one day and was eventually presumed lost. Now that we know what exactly led to the formation of Venjix and his terrifying army, let us now move on to what happened later.
On my mark, 5 brightly colored nuisances finally coming to an end.
Rise of the Ranger Operators. Venjix tried to destroy with his fortifications a returning Ziggy and a wandering Dylan, who are trying to get back into Corinth. Instead, they use a thermocharger to bomb the barricade, which partially damages it. The Corinthian shield and gates had fallen as the automobile drove through the barricade. Venjix profited from the interval between the gates opening and their subsequent closing. He sent out the Generation 5 attack bot, a robot with an incineration motive, to attack Corinth. Before the gates closed, a few more grinders and the Generation 5 attack bot entered the city. Scott, Flynn, and Summers started to fight them, and somehow managed to beat both the grinders and the attack bot. The city was again attacked by Venjix's drones, which caused significant damage to the whole city, but the Rangers forced the drones to flee with the aid of Dylan and Ziggy. Venjix still had one more trick up his sleeve. Soon, the Generation 5 attack bot was reactivated and grew to an enormous size as Venjix gave the order to his generals to start the download. When the Rangers realized they had no choice left but to transform into their super form, they joined forces completely and formed the high-octane Megazord, and started to battle the huge robot, eventually beating it for good. Both the generals were planning for attack bots. General Shifter proposed building a more primitive, more elemental-looking robot, while General Crunch presented a cartoonish representation of something that looked like insect meets vacuum cleaner back at the Venjix Palace. Venjix rejected both of these suggestions and unveiled Tenaya 7, a Generation 7 human infiltration attack bot, which was its secretly developed pet project. This battle was going to be an epic fight, and they all knew it. When Venjix sent Tenaya on a secret mission to collect the Ranger Operator Series green technology, which was unsuccessful, Venjix set the grinders to kill her. But she wasn't going to go down so easily, and she responded to this by destroying all the grinders who were sent to eliminate her. This highly impressed Venjix, but it had already decided to kill someone, so it was going to kill its weakest ally. So, Venjix killed General Shifter, shocking everyone who witnessed it. General Crunch, who was shocked the most by this, later questioned Venjix about its choices and decisions, and this enraged Venjix. And soon, it destroyed General Crunch as well in a blink. Later, it rebuilt both Shifter and Crunch, but Tenaya 7 remained its most dependable and trusted subordinate. Damn, Venjix really played favorites here, but it kinda makes sense here considering they were just being nosy in its business. Soon, Venjix used a new Generation 13 attack bot, which gave Venjix an incredible ability. It could finally have a real body, which it could use to fight the Rangers. Soon, Venjix had its program saved up. Thus, even when the Rangers' gold and silver destroyed its body, it survived and recreated the same attack bot body for its usage. After this attack, Venjix was furious at Tenaya 7 for not getting its permission before attacking the Rangers with the textile bot before deciding to join the battle aboard its ship. Venjix, however, survived the assault and said that the body it was in had failed for the last time after the bot and the ship were both destroyed. Venjix ordered its recreated generals, Crunch and Shifter, to recreate the body in an improved manner. They were successful, and although only 80% of Venjix had been downloaded into the body, it immediately intended to fight when it learned that a gate of Corinth had been opened. It quickly enlarged and turned towards the Skyref Megazord, intending to attack it. Venjix seemed to easily overpower its opponents until Dr. K activated the Afterburner, which caused Venjix to shrink down after receiving a straight blow from the Megazord, so it had to return to its normal self in order to save itself. After that, Scott fought Venjix, destroying the new robotic body with his street saber and Jem's rented cloud hatchet. The robot's head, which was still whole, was hauled away by General Shifter. They always find a way to sabotage him. Venjix greeted General Kilobyte when he entered the palace after his absence. Tenaya attempted to strike Kilobyte from behind, but the two almost immediately started fighting. To everyone's surprise, Kilobyte easily beat Tenaya and was about to totally destroy her, but was ordered by Venjix to stop. Just after this, when Tenaya was betrayed by Kilobyte, she lost her mission. Venjix decided that it was time to upgrade her, because this version of her was not compatible enough to work with him. Soon, Kilobyte asked Venjix if Tenaya knew about her true identity, to which Venjix clearly said that she didn't have any clue about it whatsoever, and Venjix wanted it to stay that way. For Venjix, General Shifter constructed a new General 16 body. However, Tenaya sabotaged the robot, leading to attack Venjix because she was upset at Shifter for siding with Kilobyte earlier. Because of this sabotage, Shifter was sent to the Wastelands, as Venjix believed that it was his fault. This made Shifter hate Venjix with all his heart, and he swore to take over the world for himself. Now, this is why AI can be so scary. So, if a computer asks you for your password, just say, Venjix You are not getting me this time. Tenaya 7 had started to remember her history, including the fact that Dylan was her brother, which only made things worse for Venjix. She made her decision to totally defect to the Rangers after assisting them in foiling Shifter's schemes. However, Kilobyte tracked her down easily and kidnapped her once again and took her back to Venjix. This pleased Venjix, and he upgraded Tenaya 7 to Tenaya 15, which enhanced her abilities and made her even more loyal to him, and she was now 100% in Venjix control. This was the time Venjix peaked in Power Rangers RPM, because it went downhill from there on out. Soon, he began challenging the Rangers in a battle to the death, but was eventually destroyed after Dr. K assisted the Rangers in battle and corrupted his servers, which destroyed all the grinders. After that, the revived Gem and Gemma landed the final blow when they shot down the control tower, which fell on Venjix, seemingly destroying him. This freed all the hybrids, and all the rest of the goons were finished off as well. But this was not the virus's death. After his pronounced death, all his factories were shut down, and all the toxins from the air were removed, which made Earth once again habitable. However, there was something that nobody realized. Venjix had linked himself to Scott's morpher, which kept him alive even after all of this. Because of this, even after this show's end, he soon showed up as the main antagonist in a different Power Rangers series, known as Power Rangers Beast Morphers. He is one of the very few antagonists who was so loved that he was brought back as soon as possible.
It's working.
Are Evox and Venjix somehow connected? When Beast Morphers was released, it also had a villain who was hell-bent on destroying the world, and due to the eerie similarities it had to a previous villain, many fans speculated that he might have been a villain who was shown in the previous series. And they were right! Evox is the main antagonist in the series Power Rangers Beast Morphers, who looks like a snake hybrid and has extreme intelligence and super strength. It can also grow bigger in size, and somehow seems to know a lot about the ancestry of the Power Rangers, and it has been on the verge of killing them from the very beginning of the series itself. But who exactly is Evox, and how did it come to be? Well, Evox, in fact, is the Venjix virus itself. Yes, we are not kidding. You must be asking yourself, but how is that possible? We did see him die in the previous series, and only a fragment of him was still alive. Then how did he manage to grow strong enough to actually become the main antagonist of another series? Well, we here at Marvelous Videos wouldn't be nothing without our research, and we have the answer for you. After Venjix was vanquished, Grid Battle Force took ownership of the original RPM morphers, including Scott's, and transported them to the Earth in the Prime Dimension, where a young Nate Silva was experimenting with vintage Ranger technology. She seemed to be trying to mix animal powers in her experiment, but she was completely unaware of the fact that Scott's morpher was heavily infected by Venjix, and there was still a trace of it surviving inside it. She was experimenting with the Cell Shift morpher and combined it with the Morph X and some snake DNA. This led to Venjix absorbing some of the snake DNA and the device's programming and escaping into Grid Battle Force's computer system. This profound freedom and snake DNA gave rise to its new form, which was completely Cobra-like. The virus hid behind the firewalls of the Grid Battle Force, laying dormant all this while, waiting for someone or something to finally energize the Morph X Tower network. Oh, Venjix, you sneaky little virus, you. All this while, when it was laying dormant, it started calling itself Evox. Its ultimate goal, for now anyway, was to use the rest of the Morph X towers to gain control of the Morphin Grid and absorb its powers to create a whole new body for itself, which would make it tenfold easier for it to destroy humanity. The rest of Venjix was trapped inside Scott's morpher, inside a secret vault that was later completely absorbed by Evox. So, do you guys realize how strong this thing really is, and how it could have just easily ended things itself if it gained full power without anyone noticing it? Damn!
I am Venjix. Your world is now my world, and your time is now over.
What was Venjix like? We clearly see that Venjix and Evox were the same virus, but they were a little bit different from each other in terms of personality and even looks. So, let us compare both of its forms and try to see which one is actually smarter. Venjix. For a good cause, Venjix is the most cruel and sadistic antagonist in the whole Power Rangers series. It speaks with a mechanical, robotic, or even demonic voice to make it all the more menacing. It is almost always depicted as being cool, stoic, patient, calculating, sophisticated, imperturbable, composed, knowledgeable, and almost polite. However, it is also shown to be emotionless, cold-hearted, power-mad, callous, treacherous, deceptive, manipulative, and dishonest, doing whatever it wants to eliminate the RPM Power Rangers and gain total control over anything and everything in the world. It also exhibits traits of narcissism, arrogance, and egotism, frequently assuming that it will always win and never lose. As it is regularly demonstrated to be extremely cruel to its other companions, and especially to its foes, it's not a surprise that it is also despotic, pitiless, indifferent, and abusive. Despite this, because it's a computer-made artificial intelligence, it is dangerously shrewd and cunning, capable of coercing anybody, especially humans, into doing what it wants, or even turning friends against one another. It has surely gained a lot of intelligence by just observing humans over the course of years. It hates humans with a fervor that makes it eager to kill as many people as possible, whether they're innocent or not, and even more eager to commit genocide against its entire organic race, if that's what would get it the coveted results. This complete and utter misanthropy is typical of a self-aware artificial intelligence that amplifies its sadism, and to add to that, it has no sense of humor whatsoever. Nor does it appreciate any form of comedy, which means that the heroes cannot defeat it by simply making him laugh. Now that is truly sad. But it does add a lot of darkness to his already evil character, so he's got that going for him. One of the few Power Rangers villains who can legitimately be classified as pure evil is this vicious computer virus. It is fully aware of the contrast between good and evil, between right and wrong, and every other concept. But it has willfully embraced evil and dislikes people so completely that it is irredeemably evil by nature. Okay, we talked a lot about Venjix, but now let's talk about its second version. Evox. It is a highly clever entity that goes by the alias of Evox and is an overtly sadistic, evil, cruel, power-hungry, spiteful, brutal, nasty, and manipulative being. It was able to hide for years within the computer system of Grid Battle Force without being discovered. Evox, although being a computer virus, has the ability to display emotional behavior like laughing. Looks like it learned a thing or two from us. But it's also irritable, easily enraged, and quick to use violence and threats as a means of achieving its goals. In addition, as evidenced by its selection of Ryjack and Vargoyle as allies, it is quite skilled at striking agreements. The fact that it permitted the Rangers to destroy Ryjack, however, shows that Evox will not be hesitant to get rid of its comrades. They are no longer useful to it. It seems to be the same entity, just less patient and more expressive. But wait, there's more to it! Evox is originally very eager to leave the cyber dimension because it detests being imprisoned in there so much. It is far more eager to play the long game by staying in the cyber dimension and building up its forces once the Cybergate is destroyed. It also hates impersonating people, down to the core of its coded heart, I guess? Well, whatever it is. Because it thinks that way, it is too cheap for it. But for now, it accepts doing it as it gives it what it wants, and it will do anything to accomplish its goals. It doesn't give a damn about its servants, considering them nothing more than tools in its power grab. When Vargoyle was initially destroyed, Evox doesn't even care to notice this fact, and is indeed happy that its main plot is moving forward, which is a wonderful illustration of its uncaring mentality. On the other hand, it demonstrates anger when Avatar Roxy is destroyed, indicating that it might have had a soft spot for her. However, in general, it might be regarded as one of the series' most evil villains. As cruel and sadistic as Evox is, after reviving Goldar, it orders him to kill Sledge without any justification. It just wants to watch the world burn. Even Devon is unaware of his father's corrupted nature, because Evox can replicate Mayor Daniel's attitude and behavior while inhabiting his body. Due to Robo-Blaze and Robo-Roxy's failure to replenish Mayor Daniel's Morphex supply in time, Devon and the other Rangers only come to the realization that Mayor Daniels had actually been Evox all this time, and is finally changed back into Evox.
Finally, I'm free, and my enemies will suffer.
What makes Evox so dangerous? We already saw in Power Rangers RPM that Venjix had already brought the world to the brink of extinction, and if the nosy Power Rangers had not come in its way, it would have easily gained full control over the Earth, creating smarter artificial intelligence that would have destroyed all of humanity. It had repeatedly demonstrated its powers many times, even when it was not in a proper fight. So let's now explore all its powers in detail, so you know just how scary a self-minded artificial intelligence coding can actually be. Venjix had so many forms that we will be telling you each of their powers one by one. So sit patiently and get terrified of this virus. When Venjix was just in eye form, it could shoot lasers out of its eye, create attack bots at will, download itself into a mechanical body at will, and also enlarge robots that would help them fight the Power Rangers. But when it transferred itself into its Generation 13 body, it gained the power of extreme movement and super strength as well. It could even summon ropes that would damage its opponents badly. After this form was destroyed, it was shifted to its final body, which gave it 2 powerful ropes. And its greatest power of all time was the deleting mouth, which scanned anyone and everyone who were to be deleted, and then it would shoot a laser at the person, erasing them, or in this case, deleting them forever. It literally gives us chills if we knew that it could totally have erased the whole group of Power Rangers from existence itself. But then it turned into Evox, and after it turned into Evox, its powers and abilities changed with its form as well. Like in its snake form, it could hack any device it wanted to. As it was still a virus, it could literally corrupt animal DNA, which made the Rangers significantly weak around it. It could also possess the Morph X, and its greatest ability was that it could literally transfer its data inside a person and take up their persona, so that the person closest to them would not realize what was different about them. Soon after this form, when it was complete with all its missing parts now together, it could instantly teleport from one place to another, could shoot lasers at its opponents, enlarge at will, and even use telekinesis. Remind anyone else of a Pokemon called Alakazam? After it gained its power from the Morph X Tower, it gained even more abilities, like matter absorption, eye lasers, sky darkening, and even face transformation. It was almost like it was made to be the strongest of them all. Conclusion. Venjix and/or Evox is a superb character that was written quite well. All its intentions, its behavior, and its sadistic personality seems to stand out as one of the few villains who show no empathy at all. It is also one of the only villains who almost achieved their goals, which means it is quite intelligent and powerful as well, and we would surely not be surprised if they somehow showed us that it survived the final battle all along. Because honestly, as much as we hate him, we would love to see him in action once again. What are your thoughts on this artificial virus? Let us know in the comments below, and if you liked our content, then please give us a like, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Until next time, have a good one, and be safe.